What up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Leslie, and today on the Nerdy Narrative, the book that I'm going to be featuring is the newest release from Kingfisher, A Sorceress Comes to Call. She's been an auto-buy author for me for years, at least 4 or 5 years now. Anything that comes out by her, I'm going to read. It's just an immediate pre-order, but I saw that this one was on NetGalley, so I requested it so I could read it and review it ahead of time so I could get this review out today, which is the day that it publishes, August 6th. Many thanks to Tor Books and NetGalley for approving that request for me. I'll have a link in the description box down below to this book where you can get your own copy, as well as to the author's website if you would like to read more by this author and see all of the many books that she has available for you to read. And it is a lot of good stuff. She just never disappoints. It wasn't until I actively started reading this book that I discovered it was based on the Goose Girl story by the Brothers Grimm. I'd never heard that story. I'd never read it. I decided I wanted to wait until after I finished A Sorceress Comes to Call to read the source material, just in case it spoiled something for me. Turns out I didn't need to do that. Kingfisher's reimagining of this tale is very loosely based, and in my opinion, it is so much better and so much more unique. So let me tell you a little bit of what A Sorceress Comes to Call is about. 14-year-old Cordelia is our main character, and this is the point of view from which this story is presented to us. She's always known that her mother was unusual. The house that she and her mother live in have no doors between any of the rooms. That right there really freaked me out because there was a time period where my dad got remarried and we had to move into her house and there was no room for me. They put me in the dining room, which had no doors. It had open doorways. One went into the living room and one went into the kitchen. So I was kept up until the last person went to bed at night, and then I was up with the first person that got up and hit the kitchen. I was 18, 19 years old, had zero privacy. So this portion of the story really cut deep to my core and just brought back a feeling that I just completely had forgotten about. Of course, it's been like 30 years, but who's counting? So no doors in the house. Cordelia was not allowed to have any friends except for her mother's horse, Falada. He was her confidant, her outlet for her to be able to just pour all of the things that she was feeling about her life and her mother and such on their daily rides together. The no doors, the no friends could be chalked up to Cordelia's mother just being paranoid and a little strange. But what really set Cordelia's teeth on edge and told her this isn't how a mother-daughter relationship should be, even though she's cut off, she has no real idea of what it should look like. But she just had this feeling that other mothers didn't force their daughters to be silent, completely motionless for days at a time. Then again, other mothers aren't sorcerers. After there was a very suspicious death in the little town that Cordelia and her mother lived in, they fled in the middle of the night and they travel a short distance away and end up at a country manor home of a minor noble that Cordelia's mother has her sights set on. When Cordelia realizes that her mother intends to lure this older gentleman into marriage, she also understands that this could only mean something really terrible for both this man and his older sister who lives with him. This older sister, who happens to be one of my favorite characters in this story, her name is Hester, and she's very sharp, very intelligent, very clever, and she picks up very quickly that there's something strange between the relationship of Cordelia and her mother. She sees the way that Cordelia shrinks away from her mother, how fearful she looks, how quiet she is, very withdrawn. Kingfisher has a knack for introducing just this fantastic array of characters in her books. She just makes them so captivating and engaging. And my favorite characters in this book are all older people, like people my age, and I think that's why I enjoyed them so much. It's so nice to read a book where the heroes of the story are people my age and a little older. Just like, thank you, Kingfisher, for making me still feel relevant. I just never get tired of reading about intelligently written characters, and oh my goodness, the humor. This author is just a master of her craft. She did such a great job with her decision making and how to approach the story. It starts off with a bit of a slower pace, a little bit of an introduction to Cordelia and her mother, but there's so much intrigue and the suspense is just building so that when the danger reveals itself, which actually the danger is ever present because this is told from Cordelia's point of view and she is in constant fear of her mother. She's not sure what kind of capabilities that her mother has as a sorceress. She is in fear of her own thoughts because what if her mother can read her mind? So we have this ever-present danger that's always lurking in the background, and it just ramps up as the book goes on while her mother's trying to enact her plan to snare this man into marriage. If you're familiar with the Brothers Grimm's fairy tales, not the Disney version, but the way in which the Brothers Grimm actually wrote these stories, you know that these fairy tales are very dark. T. Kingfisher ramped that horror element up. Oh my goodness. There is a scene that I just cannot get that out of my head. That is the first scene that pops into my mind anytime I think about this book. And because I've just finished it and I absolutely loved it, it just, every time I think about it, that scene, I visualized what that looked like. And whew, yeah, good luck with that one, y'all. Sorceress Comes to Call is just one of those rare books for me where I did not want to move once I picked it up. I just wanted to sit there like a rock and read for as long as I could until life forced me to put that book down and actually go do stuff that I had to do. But as soon as I could make time to sit back down with it, I would. I just can't recommend this book enough. If you've read Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher, another retelling, you will absolutely love this book. There was also a bit of a sneaky reference, I think, in this one to Nettle and Bone. So any of you out there that's read Nettle and Bone, when you read this one, hit me up and let me know if you catch a little line in there about, I won't say it. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to put it in your head. I want to see if anybody else reads it and gets the same impression I did. But that's going to do it for me today, talking about A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. It is available for purchase today, August 6, 2024. Again, I'll have a link down in the description box below where you can pick up your copy. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you read this book. It is just wonderful, great blend of horror and fantasy in my opinion. Have a great rest of your day and I'll catch you in the next one.